he would wear you down. It was like going up against granite.
Hey fight fans, welcome back to another Top 10 Countdown here on Boxing Legends TV. Today we'll be counting down the hardest punching and most feared heavyweight boxers of all time. We have to stress with you guys that this is not a list ranking greatest heavyweights of all time, and all list making decisions on our channel are entirely our own opinion. We understand and respect that everyone has their own personal preferences. This is just our picks for the most dangerous heavyweights, and we will do our best to explain why we have chosen each fighter as the video continues. Coming in at number 10, we have the second longest reigning heavyweight champion of all time, the former Olympic champion who now boasts a record of 64 wins with 4 losses and 53 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Dr. Steel Hammer, Vladimir Klitschko.
You got the heavyweight champions, the Klitschko brothers. They so dominate the boxing in the heavyweight division. Could you beat those guys in your best?
I don't know. In reality, even though we don't want to believe it, athletes get better as time goes on.
By far the greatest heavyweight of the last 10 years, Vladimir has proved himself time and time again against the top contenders during his close to 10-year reign as heavyweight champion, and most of these defenses resulting in a knockout victory. Although many will argue Vladimir has achieved greatness in a weak era for the heavyweights, credit has to be given considering the common consensus that athletes are only getting better as time progresses. Since suffering a few upset defeats himself in the earlier stages of his career, Vladimir adapted his style to be more defensive-minded against the more powerful punchers in the division, resulting in a dangerous counterpunching style that effectively saw him victorious in bouts against top competitors such as David Haye, Alexander Povetkin, Kubrat Pulev, Samuel Peter, and many more.
What message did you just send? Undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Nash!
During his title reign, he has been victorious over 10 undefeated boxers, most of which were young, up-and-coming contenders, and he beat those men whilst aged in his mid to late 30s. An impressive feat, which is why he warranted a spot at number 10. Taking the number 9 slot, we have one of the most underrated heavyweight fighters of all time, the heavily avoided Black Panther, Harry Wills.
Harry Wills was the best black heavyweight during the time that Jack Dempsey was the heavyweight champion of the world.
Not only was Wills a murderous puncher, he also had one of the greatest resumes in heavyweight boxing history, fighting top guys like Sam McVeigh 5 times, battling Jim Johnson and Joe Jeanette twice, and an unbelievable 18-fight series with, in our opinion, the greatest pound-for-pound fighter of all time, Sam Langford. Unfortunately, Wills was never able to fight for the world title against Jack Dempsey because racism was at its full fruition since the black heavyweight great Jack Johnson retired, and the white promoters of the 1920s simply couldn't risk another colored fighter holding the heavyweight title. That didn't stop Wills, leaving a truly astounding legacy. He retired in 1932 with a record of 90 wins, 10 losses, 7 draws, and 65 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Coming in at number 8, we have the longest reigning heavyweight champion in the history of boxing, a fighter you will often see ranked in the top 10 pound for pound by many respected historians, the Brown Bomber, Joe Louis.
And the way he ended up, I don't think that there was anybody in the history of boxing who was a greater finisher.
Ranked number 1 by the credible 2003 edition of the Ring Magazine Top 100 Greatest Punchers of All Time, Louis is without a doubt one of the most devastating punchers in boxing history. Louis broke the color bar back in 1937 when he defeated James J. Braddock by a devastating 8th-round knockout, and then continued his reign all the way through until March 1st, 1949, when he made his first retirement.
Well, I'd like to say again that I retired. Tonight was my last fight, and thank you very much.
Within those 11-plus years as a champion, Louis consecutively won 25 fights, winning a staggering 20 of those by knockout. Louis finally hung the gloves up for good in 1951 with a record of 66 wins, 3 losses, and 52 knockouts under his belt. At number 7, we have one of the most aggressive fighters in boxing history, the fan favorite that changed the sport forever, the Manessa Mauler, Jack Dempsey.
In the case we have here, Jack Dempsey is a very, very vicious man. And as you see, he fights like someone having eaten for 5 days.
By far the most popular of his time, Dempsey knew what it took to get the fans excited. His all-out aggressive style was unprecedented in the heavyweight division, and he made the upright defensive fighters of the 1920s look silly at times.
At the very beginning of round 1, the 6'7" champion is hit with a paralyzing left up to the jaw and sent to the canvas for the first time in his professional career.
One of the true great stories in boxing, Dempsey was once a hobo on the street. He took to bar wager fights to earn his cash until he realized that his talent for fighting was far beyond a drunken brawl, as he battered pretty much every man that ever stood up to his challenges. So he laced the gloves up and took his barroom brawl style to the ring in 1914, but never really made a name for himself until after World War I in 1918, when he really started taking training seriously and fighting top contenders in the heavyweight division. In 1919, after stringing a successive knockout streak together, he got his chance to fight for the world title against the huge 6'7" Jess Willard. And to the shock of many, Dempsey completely pulverized him, scoring a staggering 7 knockdowns in the first round. Ringside spectators said it was like watching a man possessed, fighting in a life or death situation. He successfully defended his title over elite opposition for the next few years before losing twice to the great Gene Tunney. He then retired a rich man in 1927 with a record of 58 wins, 6 losses, 9 draws, and with 44 wins by way of knockout.
His hair is shaved up the back of his head. He's got the scowl, and he's out to kill his opponent.
Taking the number 6 slot, we have the dubbed Mike Tyson of the 50s and 60s, the most intimidating man on the planet, the Big Bear, Sonny Liston.
This is a bad man.
When you got hit by Sonny Liston's jab, it felt like you were getting hit with a telephone pole.
Possibly the greatest left jab in the history of the heavyweight division. That left jab could go through brick walls.
After suffering horrendous physical abuse by his father in his younger days, subsequently, Liston grew up to be one tough son of a bitch, being a gang leader committing outrageous crimes like muggings and armed robberies. He was known by the police as the Yellow Shirt Bandit due to the shirt he wore during robberies. Liston was caught in January 1950 and was convicted and sentenced to 5 years in Missouri State Penitentiary. This would be where he started his early boxing training upon meeting an influential character inside that believed Liston could channel his anger into the fighting art. Liston was released in 1952 and quickly realized he had what it took to make it to the top in professional boxing, as he almost damn near killed his sparring partners. Liston's route to the title included world-class knockout victories over Cleveland Williams twice, Nino Valdez, and Zora Foley, among others. Liston's career-defining moment came in his first world title bout against Floyd Patterson, where he scored a first-round knockout and then repeated it a year later with another first-round knockout in the rematch. Liston retired in 1970 with a record of 50 wins, 4 losses, and 29 of those wins came by way of knockout. Coming in at number 5, we have the man regarded by many as the hardest puncher in boxing history, the Black Destroyer, Ernie Shavers.
I've seen Bobby Foster, I've seen Sandy Sadler, I've seen Joe Frazier at their best. The best one-punch fighter, the one greatest punch I have ever seen, is owned by a man named Ernie Shavers.
Larry Holmes once quoted, "Ernie hit me harder than any other fighter. Mike Tyson hit me like a speeding Ferrari, but being hit by Ernie Shavers was like being hit by a Mack truck." Holmes was just one of the many fighters that claimed Shavers as the hardest puncher they have faced, including Muhammad Ali, Ron Lyle, and Randall Tex Cobb.
Who's the strongest?
No, the strongest
man, just in terms of
Ernie Shavers. Yeah, man.
With an excruciating 68 knockouts in his 74 victories, it's clear to see that his power stayed with him throughout his career. But unfortunately, he was never able to capture a world title, and I guess it's understandable when your only title shots were against the great Larry Holmes and Muhammad Ali. And how Holmes recovered from one of the most savage uppercuts ever thrown in round 7 is still a mystery to this day. We understand that a lot of hardcore boxing fans would have Shavers as a clear number 1 on any pound-for-pound punchers list, but we just felt the caliber of his victories were of a slightly lower class compared to the guys above him. At number 4, we have the undefeated legend of the ring, the Brockton blockbuster Rocky Marciano.
Tough as a rock. He was very well named. He would wear you down. It was like going up against granite.
Being the only heavyweight champion in the history of boxing to retire undefeated, Marciano used his dreadful overhand right to pound 42 of his 49 opponents into submission. But he didn't take up boxing until after he was drafted into the U.S. Army in 1943, where he took up the sport mainly as a way to avoid assisting the cooks in other less desirable activities. He showed a natural ability and fought as an amateur following his discharge in 1946. As a professional, the knockouts came in quick, as he scored 16 in a row, with most coming in the first or second round. Once he reached title level, he was a dangerous knockout machine that could literally end the fight with any given punch at any time. His crouching, pouncing style was very unusual, but ultimately super effective, and he used it successfully when he defeated the experienced Jersey Joe Walcott for the heavyweight title in 1952, which is still regarded to this day as one of the most brutal knockouts of all time.
Now watch Rocky's right hand. That's it. In slow motion as Walcott starts to throw a right hand, the Rock beats him to it. The World Heavyweight Championship was riding on that one devastating right to the jaw.
Marciano retired in 1955 at the age of 31 after defending his title a further 5 times against the best competition available to him. Smashing his way into number 3, we have, in our opinion, the greatest fighter of all time across all weight divisions, the Boston Terror, Sam Langford.
Many of the early press releases on him and the write-ups on him described him as a physical freak, that his arms hung so low that he could walk down the street and pick up cigar butts and loose dimes without bending his knees. Someone once said that he was a small man who got a hold of a large man's torso, and I think that's where his power came from.
Now, before you flip out in the comment section saying Ali, Robinson, or Armstrong are the greatest ever, ask yourself one simple question. How many fighters do you know that have started their career as a featherweight and moved all the way up to the heavyweight division? Well, we can tell you there have only been 2 as far as our research can tell us, but that is far from why he's the greatest. Once reaching the heavyweight division, he scored over a staggering 100 knockouts, and bear in mind, Langford was often outweighed by 20 or 30 pounds each fight. That's the equivalent of Manny Pacquiao fighting Sergey Kovalev. Outside of the weight disadvantage, he also only stood at 5'7" and took on many guys standing in a range of 6'3" to 6'6". But all of that means nothing if you don't have the resume to back it up. In Langford's case, he actually holds the record for the most Hall of Fame fights in history as well. Sam was heavily avoided by the world champions and was never actually able to get a shot at the world title, but neither were any of the other great black fighters of his time. So instead, they just fought each other in epic multiple fight series, which resulted in some of the most brutal fights in history. Langford has a long and in-depth career, and we simply can't put everything into words on a small segment on this list. But we'll leave it on this legendary clip from one of our favorite YouTube channels, The Boxing Librarian.
And you know, all through his career, fighting great lightweights, welterweights, middleweights, light heavyweights, and then to put on the capstone that enormous work at heavyweight, over 50 fights against Hall of Fame heavyweights and worthy Hall of Fame heavyweights. People who downtread them, go to hell, you don't know what you're talking about. You know, Harry Wills said he was a 6'3", muscular, powerful, athletic heavyweight. Many people do not understand this man's ferocious punch power. He was a freak of nature. Harry Wills said that Sam Langford hit so hard when Langford knocked him out, you know, in one of their fights, he thought he'd been killed.
At number 2, we have the only man that literally had enough power to make his opponent's feet lift off the canvas with a punch, Big George Foreman.
Seeing him on television as a kinder, gentler pitchman, it's easy to forget that George Foreman was once one of the most feared fighters in the world. A man with a punch so powerful that many worried Foreman might inadvertently kill opponent one day.
Not being blessed with natural speed or boxing technique, Foreman relied heavily on his God-given talent of raw power. Some of his opponents claimed he hit so hard that even if he punched you in the arm, your whole body would go numb. His grueling training techniques included 45 minutes at a time on the heavy bag, just throwing haymakers non-stop. Often he would split the bag in 2 and need it to be replaced. In the ring, he slayed his first 40 opponents without suffering a defeat, winning the world title along the way against the undefeated Joe Frazier in horrifying fashion. Upon suffering his first defeat to Muhammad Ali, Foreman would go on to retire in 1977 for 10 years before coming back and reclaiming his heavyweight crown at the age of 45, becoming the oldest man to ever do so. Foreman retired in 1997 with a record of 76 wins, 5 losses, and 68 knockouts. Before we take a look at number 1, here are some honorable mentions.
the champion. I'm the real champion. There'll never be one like me.
Not many surprises here for our number 1 pick, considering we stated our criteria for this list was the most powerful and feared heavyweights. And let's be honest, Tyson is a clear 10 out of 10 in both categories.
This man was a killer. He was there. He came in without a robe. He came in without trappings. He came in to destroy you, and you knew it.
He was flattening everybody. And here's this guy walking around with these black trunks and black shoes and looking like, something who had emerged out of the primordial ooze.
And Ratliff will sit it out. I want to fight, and disrupt the world because I'm the best fighter in the world.
Tyson might not have the hardest single punch in boxing history, but it was a combination of his incredible speed and movement combined with his power that just shook up his opponents during his prime from 1985 to 1990. I think it's fair to say, Tyson's documented training is like nothing we have seen from any other heavyweight. The grueling sparring sessions that left many unconscious, the epic pad work with Kevin Rooney as legendary trainer Cus D'Amato kept his watchful eye on him at all times. And by the time he stepped in the ring, he was ready to wage war.